And then we also have the restrictions. Do you want this value to be a number? Do you want it to be greater than or less than? Do you want it to be between a set of numbers? That's if you're including numbers. So the restrictions are for the text field are basically for numbers. So if you want somebody to input a phone number, okay, and it's a text field that you are giving them, all you need to do is put in the restriction of number. So here, anytime I type my name, it tells me that it's not a number and the value must be a number. The minute I put any number, I don't get the error message again. So this is what some people use HTML, CSS to build, and Microsoft gave it to you on a platter of gold, basically. Okay, each field has how you can edit them. So I can decide that this one, I want it to be a drop down. And when I go to preview it, it becomes a drop down. I can also change, add branching. So branching is immediately this is filled, immediately this form, this particular question is answered. So if I type, if I click on good, it takes me to the next section. If I click on not good, it ends the form. Okay, so now let's test it out. So I just added branching, right? So let's try it. Let's just put any number here. Did you notice that all the other questions have disappeared? Why is that? The reason is the branching stops, it's basically creates like a new section. So now if I say my answer is good and I click on next, it takes me to the next section. If I say my answer is not good, it automatically submits the form. Can you see the difference? But if I put in order, right, and I type yes, it automatically opens up the remaining part of the form. If you filled some forms, I'm sure you've seen this happen several times. Okay, and I'm sure some of us would think it's magic, but this is basically something you can do by yourself on Microsoft has made it easy. Okay, so every single field, like I said earlier, has their editing, what you can edit them with. Some are limited, some are not. And also another thing I want to point out is that you can copy a question and paste it. Okay, it's not a field that I use. I just continue typing as much as I want to. Okay, so I copied it and it's showing again. Can you see? It pasted on its own. When you copy, it pastes. It pastes. So if you notice when I clicked on copy, let me do that again. It loaded for a while and then it showed. Okay, so I just wanted us to see how that works. So now I can rearrange how my form looks. So I want what date was the training to come before, how would you rate the trainer? So I take this down and it takes the what date was the training up. So sorry, I haven't removed the branching. So let me just click on order and type something. And you can see the training dates and the rating of the trainer changed positioning. Okay. For example, I want to make my form look different. Okay, and I want to add an image. Microsoft already gives you different templates you can use. Okay, I can decide to make it look like this. Can decide to make it look like this. So you get to pick how you want your form to look like. Can you see the different there are different options here, and you can select a color that works with you. So you can decide to select any color. You can decide to select any image or video to add to your form. Now you can also add background music, right? So I'm adding a random one, and whenever you add it, it automatically doesn't play. So if I preview, it should play. I don't know if we can hear it.
No. Okay, yeah, I can hear it now.
Okay, we can hear it now.
So that's if you thank you so much for that. That's if you are trying to serenade your form fillers, your quiz takers, your questionnaire fillers. So you're just trying to make them feel groovy, to fill the form, or put it in a sad mode. It depends on the kind of music you add to it. Okay, but one thing that I noticed that Microsoft hasn't done is let you add your own music. Okay, so currently it's just the music that they give to you. Okay, so it is still shaky. I might not like any of their sounds, so I would not use it. Okay, so I can change how my form looks at any point in time, even after people have started filling it. Okay. So I'm going to use this one because it's one of the ones I like the most. Now, the next field here is collect responses. Now, if you want to share it with anybody at all you need to do is copy this link and paste it somewhere. So I'm sure that if I copy it and paste it in the chat, anybody can fill this form right now and we will get a response. So I would love anybody to fill this form right now. Thank you so much. They also give you the option of shortening the link. So for example, the link I just posted now is very long, right? So you just want something short you can share with people. They also give you that, which is this. So I dropped them both in the chat. So you can share it personally with people, okay, by sending it to their email address, or you can create a feedback form, a QR code rather, and you can create it using two different types. Okay, so now if I scan this code, I'm very sure that I'll be able to see the form. You can try it. If somebody wants to try it, you can please say so. Does anybody want to try it?
I
Done
submitted
that
already.
already. Okay. Come,
Oh,
coming.
wow, that was quick.
The QR code is coming. The form is coming. When scan the
So
QR code.
you were able to access the form, right? Oh wow, we
Yes,
have
yes.
4 responses already. So you can also embed your form, your Microsoft form, into a website. What I mean by embed is you just copy this code and add it to your website. Now, when you do that, the form would show on your website the way it looks right now. Okay. You can also share it straight to Facebook, wherever you want to share it to, Facebook and Twitter, anywhere at all, actually. And if you feel there was something wrong with how it worked, you can drop your feedback for Microsoft. Okay. Now, to the present
Okay.
function I mentioned earlier, when I click on present, it shows me all the answers I have received so far. Can you see that? We have 4 responses that have been submitted. Do you see the analytics part? Okay. Can we see the analytics part? It is analyzing based on what we have filled. So it's showing me, but nobody has filled all these other fields. Okay, so now what I will do is go back and make them compulsory, and I would love somebody to please fill it again after I have made it compulsory and it has saved. So it's saving real time. If you notice, I don't have to click on Control S or anything like some other platforms. It saves automatically. So I'm going to delete this section.
So I think the branches feature that you applied works here because you could only see the first page that requested for the name and how the class was.
Okay, so if you want to remove the branching, you can actually go back to where you see add branching. Now I'm going to remove the branching and just let everything go to next. Okay, so I'm going to go back, and can somebody fill the form again? Just even if it's just one person, anybody at all. I'm going to leave the QR code for us to see. So because I didn't request for name, we can't see who is filling it, but you see that the responses are coming in immediately. So it's showing how many responses I've received, the average time it took each person to complete it, and that this status means active, means that it is really in, like, people are responding at the moment. So this is also another way you can see the analytics. Okay, all the 4 people that filled this form clicked on good. Did you notice something? It changed immediately, a response entered, and it changed because somebody picked, so it submitted a response. So it updates real time. You can actually see what is going on. Another person just filled it again. Okay, so this is just an example of how. See, we have another response. So I'm loving the fact that we are seeing this real time. Everybody is getting to pick and make their choices real time. So you can see now, for example, this trainer now, how would you rate your trainer? 2 people selected 10 and 1 person selected 8. Automatically, it has counted it for you. It did the calculations and everything. Now you can actually break this down into each form that was filled. So if you click on view results, okay, it shows you each person's results. For example, now I just made this required, so it's going to show as the first set of people didn't fill anything and it was required. So it took this person 26 seconds, it took this person 23, the next person 19, the next person 33, the other person 39, and we have 2 more, 1 minute 7 seconds. So now if you notice, the average time to complete has changed because there are longer times now. Okay, so if you decide to print your responses, you can print everything. But this is what I meant by you can export your responses. Okay, so I can click on print responses and it shows me all the responses, or rather each response, sorry. So I'm printing this particular response. Okay, so I don't want to print it, but you can see the option to do that. Now there's another thing I didn't mention when you're previewing. The previewer can also fill the form. Now let me show you what I mean. So if we go back here, we see that we have 7 responses, right? So I'm going to pick a random number here. So I'll just pick 5555 and then C. Control C, which is me copying it, and I'm going to paste it. How was the class? Good. The date, today's date, trainer 10. Oh, I repeated that twice. Okay, that's fine. Yes, I leave it that way. Leave it this way. Okay, and then I submit. Oh wow. So you're trying to tell me I should pick what? Okay, let me submit again. Okay, so my response was submitted. You see that I changed to 8. Now, if I click on more details, it's showing me what the person that filled it and what filled it. So if this was a company and it was shared within a company, in the name section, it automatically imputes the person's name. It's no longer anonymous. It's only anonymous because this is a personal account and I don't have access to each person's name. I can see that we have a question. Rukky, I can hear you.
Okay, so concerning this anonymous, so if it's in an organization, sometimes they will tell us your response. We can't see who is responding. Like your response is anonymous. So is it true for an organization? Like is it actually true when they say it is anonymous? They are not saying our names.
Yes, sometimes. Although sometimes some companies say that just to make you feel comfortable. But if the person that created the form selected anyone can fill the form, yes, it is anonymous, except they put a name field. Does that make
Okay,
sense?
yeah, it does.
So for the personal forms, what you see is only anyone can respond, right? Let me try to share my whole screen so that you can see it from the section of my work um uh my work form. Now this is the getting started form that some of us here filled. So now I want to click on collect responses. Do you see wow, okay, I haven't been online for a while on this, so sorry about that. I'm clicking on collect responses. So for your question, when anyone can respond, it doesn't require the person to sign in. The person can actually fill the form. Now, only people in Dynamics Consult can respond means it will pick the name of the person automatically. So where you saw anonymous, you would see a name. Now, if you are sending it to specific people, it's asking, do you want to record name? And do you want it to be one response per person? Now, you can also select the name, the group, or the email, type the email address that the person, so let me try something so that you can see. So if this person is my tenant, it would show me the person's name. Can we see that it showed me his name? So I can send it to just him, but I'm not going to pick that option because this is for everybody. So yes, I'm going to select everyone can respond. So I hope I've been able to answer your question, Rukky.
Yes, you have. Thank you.
Welcome. Great. So, there is also settings. You can duplicate this form, which means probably you want to create similar type of forms, similar method or questions. You can just duplicate this and make few changes. Okay. I can also, or rather, we can also click on the settings. And now here is the fun part. I can set a start date for accepting responses and an end date. And I can also decide that I'm no longer picking responses, and I will type a message, no longer accepting responses. Thank you. Now, if anybody tries to fill this form, automatically they get that message. Automatically. But if I select accept responses and I set a time and date, anybody that tries to fill this form within this period will be able to fill it and submit. But the moment this period ends, you cannot fill and you cannot submit. You can't even access it.
Yeah, it says the
So
form is closed when I
exactly.
click. Yeah.
So it's closed until 9 p.m. As soon as it's 9 p.m., anybody can try it, and you see that the form is open again. Or let me try to change that to 8:45. If you try opening it now, you'll be able to access it again. Probably just refresh the page. Okay. Now you can set how long you want someone to spend on this form. I can say the maximum number of minutes I want them to spend is 2. I can say the maximum number is 120. It depends on the fact that is it a quiz or not. Now this is clearly not a quiz. It's not I just created this from scratch. Microsoft actually provides you with templates. So if you click on from your home page, let me go back again. From your home page, you see exploit templates. You can click on view all, and it shows you all the types of templates that they have for you. So you can use the template and then customize it to what you want. Okay. Now
Okay.
there are other fields. So you can allow people to edit their responses. For example, you already submitted a form and you're confused. How do I edit this? I made a mistake on one of my answers. All you have to do is click on the button again and then edit it and resubmit. And it makes a change. Okay. Then I can customize a thank you message. I can say, oh, thank you so much for filling the form. So whenever someone is done filling the form, they see this. Now, I'm sure when you were filling the form, you saw submit another response. So if I select the hide submit another response, you would not be able to submit another response, literally. Get email notification of each response, which means that every time this is filled, I will get a notification in my email. And I'm sure many people wouldn't want that. Now, this is disabled, the show progress bar, because it's mostly because of the type. Now, Microsoft explains what it is now and why it is disabled. It says it is only available for multi-page surveys, forms, or quizzes. So if we had like 4 pages, you'll be able to show progress bar so someone can know how much more they have to do or how much is left. Okay. We also have the disable question number, so I can make a particular number disabled. Now oh no, rather, sorry, I mixed that up. You don't get to see a number, all you get to see is name, like text. So before it was showing number 1 name, number 2 how was the class, number 3. So I don't want to see that. I don't want the users rather to see that. So I removed it. Okay. Great. So
Okay.
you can also shuffle the questions. Now I have used this, but when I used it, it was just text and drop downs that I had in mind. I don't know why it is disabled at the moment, but when I used it for one of my other forms, it was enabled and I was able to shuffle questions. So imagine you are creating a quiz and the people that are taking the test think everybody has the same number 1 and they're trying to cheat. So when you tell someone number one is C, number two is D, the person is feeling it based on what they have, but clearly they don't have the same question. And there are a lot of combination of questions. So number one can be the last question for me. Number one can be the 30th question. That's if there are more than 30 questions. Can be the 30th question for somebody else. The first thing you are saying here can be the number 15 for someone. It can be number one for somebody too. So it just shuffles the question. It plays around with it. You don't get a say basically on how it is shuffled. Okay, so I believe I have touched every part of Microsoft Forms.